Hello everyone, welcome back to another Dev Frontier 2 video. Today we're going to be talking about my speed looting build, essentially. Ever since clans have been implemented, I've been getting back into the game, and the main category I've been focusing on in terms of like records and things like that is looting, because I find it's the most balanced at the moment. But I really wanted to build a character that was really good at that kind of thing. I mean, originally I built this character just to be just a pistol sort of looting hybrid character type deal. It wasn't really anything crazy, but it's basically become a mainly a looter character, but it's also capable of bossing as well. So I'm going to quickly go into a solo game to sort of demonstrate this, because I feel it's better than trying to do a voiceover. I think it's better to do it live and just sort of go through everything individually. I wouldn't say it's perfect, because there's a few things I need to iron out here and there for the build, but I wanted to make a video anyway discussing it, because it's something that I think is pretty damn cool as a build. Now I want to clarify, this is not focusing on actual proper amazing looting, if that makes any sense. Basically you're getting quantity over quality here in a sense, but you're still getting loads of money in the process, probably more than you would if you went for just fine chance on everything. So this is purely just focused on getting the fastest search speed possible, and that's kind of it. That's kind of all I've focused on. I ain't focused on fine chance or anything like that. The whole purpose of this is just being able to loot as fast as you can, as quick as you can, save yourself as much time as possible, and potentially get some numbers on the leaderboard. So essentially the only thing that really has given me chance here to find extra things is the Looter 5 perk. With that, I'm actually going to go through the skills for you. So basically I'm using Sprinter 5 and Jogger 5. Now usually I would have just chosen to go for Jogger or Sprinter. Like, I wouldn't have just gone for both. That's something I would never have done usually, but because they're so entwined in how they work, and the fact that, you know, the same types of clothing give you basically both stats, while it would cost more money to get both stats on this gear, it makes a lot more sense, and in my opinion is like the best of the best. You can focus on, you know, purely sprinting and you might get a better result out of it, but having jog as well is just nice, because when you run out of sprint duration, it helps a lot, because you can keep up with bosses and stuff while you're regenerating your cooldown and all that. So I think having jogger is definitely worthy. So I think going for both is fine, and I haven't really noticed it actually affect my amount of skills possible or anything like that. It's still fine and dandy. There's not really any other skills that it's taking up space from, really, unless you're going to use armor. You might want armorer, but I think it's fine. I don't think there's any major need to change it. Looter 5 is kind of self-explanatory. The extra unique, elite, rare, and superior chance, it's alright. But the main reason is for the search speed. The whole point of this build is getting as much search speed as humanly possible, basically. So Looter 5 is kind of a no-brainer. Toughness 5 is mainly because if you're looting in level 50 areas, you're going to get hit a lot. But it's something you could change out if you're not planning to loot like above level 30, because you can still make a lot of money by just looting in lower areas and just specifically focusing on meds and ammo. You can still make a load of money. You don't need to necessarily go to level 50. But for me personally, I'm trying to get the blueprint and for Neratonin, and basically just see the absolute best stuff I can get. I want the best of the best, so I went for Toughness 5. I originally had Mule 5, but I found that Mule 5 was kind of just a waste of a perk, especially now that Gold Membership has had a buff that gives you inventory capacity. So to me, it just didn't seem worth it. So for me personally, Toughness 5 is there. It's not even necessarily because I get hit a lot, it's more just a safety blanket in case I do get hit, because level 50 enemies deal a lot of damage, and I don't have a whole lot of damage reduction right now, so it comes in handy. Now, the weapon of choice I'm using for this looting build is Pistol Expert 5. Well, not the pistol, sorry, not the weapon, the skill, but yeah, I'm using Pistol Expert 5. It's kind of interchangeable. I think you could go for melee, you could go for rifles, but due to the recent pistol buff, I think pistols are probably the best choice for now. Being able to just zero in with no delay and get the best accuracy possible is really handy, and you're going to be getting way more ammo than you're going to be using up. So it doesn't, it's not like you're going to be losing a lot of that money. Like, maybe you'll lose a tiny bit, but I don't know, man. It's very unlikely. And melee is not great in level 50 areas, as far as I know. It's kind of just a redundant weapon at the moment. It needs some buffs, so keep an eye out for that. I expect it to happen, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. But honestly, I think Pistol Expert 5 is a good choice. I think it's one that is worth getting. And I mean, I've always said this about any of my builds, even if they're outdated. If you're going to focus on one weapon, get the expert skill for it. It's like mandatory. Next up is Marksman 5. Now, this and Quickshot are kind of controversial to me, because now with pistols being buffed and no need for like aim speed and minimum accuracy is not required, it makes them a tiny bit redundant. But I'll explain my reasoning. So Marksman 5, the main reason I got it was for the maximum accuracy. The range helps as well. Having extra range is also helpful, but it was mainly the maximum accuracy. When I took the perk, pistols weren't buffed yet, so there was no plan to worry about that kind of stuff. But then they got buffed, so it's now sort of... I thought it was redundant, but I'd rather have the accuracy than not have it. And I can't think of any other perks that would really be worth replacing with, so I've stuck with Marksman 5 and Quickshot. Headhunter 5 is kind of a no-brainer if you're going for headshots. 25 headshot damage helps out. Quickshot 5 is what I need to discuss, because this one is a lot more controversial than Marksman, because it's aim speed. It's focused on aim speed. That's the reason I took it originally. But the reason I kept it is for pistol attack speed. Aim speed is redundant, yes, but having that attack speed is also very helpful when you're fighting bosses, because you can just hold down the button and essentially just unload into their fucking head like a madman. So for me, getting the Quickshot was worthy. I think it was fine, and like I said, there's not really any perks I can think of that I would replace it with, so it felt like sort of like a double-edged sword in a way. Like it was something that had benefits, potentially could be a bit wasteful here and there, but having that attack speed, I don't know, it kind of made it worth it for me. Reloading 5 is another one that you don't necessarily need. I wasn't using it for the longest time, but I found it really useful for just getting reloads as fast as possible in when you're in a bit of a crowded area. Hunter 5 is one that, once again, that's very subjective. It depends what your intentions are. If you want to go fight infected, then you might not want it. If you are intending to boss and stuff like that, then yeah, get it. You could change this one out for sure, but for me personally, I quite like Hunter 5, and I don't plan on really changing it. I think it works really well. So yeah, that's all the skills. Now, as for weaponry, I'm using a Colt 1911 personally, or an M1911, what you want to call it. I personally just think it's kind of the best option. There's obviously different ones you can get, but in terms of my primary weapon, I'm using this one that has a load of stats on it. Has damage versus mutated, weapon aim speed, health restoration, search speed is most important as always, and then a bunch of other little bonuses on it. The other one is more of a stat booster. It's got search speed, jog speed, and sprint speed. I'm planning to probably get a better one of these. Assuming more come into the market, I'll buy a better one. But for now, it's pretty good. And then for boots, like I say, we're focusing on sprint and jog stats. Jog only has jog speed. There's no, subsidiary stats, I guess you could say, to it. Whereas sprint has a fair few. I think there's 3 in total, which is sprint duration, sprint speed, and cooldown. So if possible, going for every one of those in a single bit of gear is really helpful. So I wanted to go for as much as I could, and that's what I did. I got basically almost all 3 in one. Duration to me is not as important as cooldown. Cooldown is very good. So I think you can, miss duration and get away with it, because the cooldown will in a way negate it. But for that kind of stuff, it's not necessarily a big deal. Having inventory capacity as well on a looter build is of course important, but it's not important enough for me to justify getting Mule 5 personally, because getting around to and from is much more handy in my opinion. So yeah, that's in terms of shoes and trousers. Now I'm using Luna's collar for my body. I was using armor before, but Luna's collar is honestly very good for this build. I mean, it has good, well, I say good, it has very good incoming damage reduction. It has inventory capacity and a whopping search speed amount. It also has a bit of sneakers, a bit of the range, but who really cares about that, let's be honest. So I think Luna's collar is a very good option for this. Rare motorbike helmet is, like I said, unique. The rare motorbike helmet I've got has search speed, headshot speed, attack speed, and damage versus mutated. So I got it mainly for the search speed, but I also wanted a bunch of other stats to help with bossing, and that's what we ended up with. I think it works pretty well. And Watchman's Touch I bought a long time ago. I feel like there's probably a unique out there that might be better than this for my uses. but I quite like it just because of the search speed. It has headshot damage, damage versus infected if you like that, and it also has weapon chance and superior item chance. I mean, superior item chance no one likes, but weapon chance always handy. I think weapons are better than clothing generally in terms of scrap value, so that's all the gear. I think it's something that's worth picking up for the purpose of doing speed looting. So yeah, now I'm going to go over a few ideas on how to loot better and things like that. I mean, again, I'm no prophet. It's just an idea. I'm in Dalbo currently to demonstrate this. So first off, I'm going to basically talk you through like key binding. So I'm going to go to my controls, and down here we're looking for submit and cancel. There we go. So for submit basically means yes, and cancel basically means no. And that's in the context of opening up the loot menu. So I have got my yes button set to one of my mouse buttons, and then for no I've got it set to another mouse button. So essentially I don't have to actually move my mouse over to the yes or no button. I can just press a mouse button and accept it. Done, dusted. I don't have to faff about with anything else. You can bind this to your keyboard if you like. It's not just a mouse related thing. There's a bunch of different options. You can use keyboard keys if it's more comfortable for you, but for mouse it's just easier for me. Now the reason I've got both of them set, and the reason I don't just take everything, is because you will eventually fill up your inventory full of junk if you blindly take everything, which I sometimes do. If you're in a hurry to get leaderboard stuff, it's pretty handy, but it will fill up your inventory very fast. So basically, with the search speed I have, I can loot like that. It's done. But usually you look at the item, decide whether you want to use it or not, and it's good for for slow looting. But for fast looting, what you really want is genuinely just to take the item or not take it as fast as possible. Now another reason to not take the item is because when you take an item, it has to basically ping the server to add the item to your inventory, which takes, I mean, it's not a massive amount of time. I think it's about 100 milliseconds because it's connecting to the North American server. Maybe if you're in North America, it'd be faster. I'm not sure. But as a British person, it's not the fastest experience. So I'll demonstrate that. So find the loot. So if I click take, that's how long it takes to get out of the menu. If I go find another loot just here, and then I take it, but I say no, it's just an instant. There's no delay. There's nothing about it. So you can. I'll demonstrate like just taking as much as possible. So you run into the room. This is me taking now. I'm pressing the button to take. You've got a small delay between taking. You go in here. Hit take. Hit take. And there's a small delay. But if I go to loot some more and I press no instead, you can see that it's like there's no delay at all. It's just instant. Obviously you're locked by loading screens, but other than loading screens, so go here, nope, go here, nope. I don't even have to really read it. I can press no immediately and it still counts towards the loot amount on the leaderboard. You don't actually have to take it. As long as you get the window, it counts. So that's why I've got two bindings set. Again, it depends on your preference. You can still loot a shit ton of stuff by just taking everything, because it's only a mild delay. But if you're in a really if you're in a situation where you need to loot everything as fast as possible for the leaderboard, and you're not bothered about actually making money, you can just use the no button and get really fast loots because of the lack of the delay. So I found myself clearing like hospitals by not taking any items. Not hospitals, hotels within I don't even know, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Very, very quick times compared to what I would if I was taking everything or like looking through every item when I have the dialogue. So it's very handy. But that kind of summarizes it. Like I say, it's still a build that's worth using for looting. For bossing. It's something that I think can take down bosses pretty quickly. I find that I'm actually killing bosses a lot faster than I expect. I wouldn't use it as like a primary bosser. Is that a word? I don't know. I wouldn't use it for your primary bossing character. I think I wouldn't say it's at that level, but in terms of a bit of passive bossing on the side, and considering it's a looting character and all that, it's pretty good. Honestly, it's honestly worth checking out. But I personally, the main purpose is for speed looting. Like I say, it's for getting as much loot as possible in as little amount of time, so you can go and watch, like I don't know, bloody She-Hulk on Disney Plus. you know, you have more time to watch that if you need to get your daily loots in. I don't know. So that's kind of the main purpose of the build. I think it's quite good. There's refinement that can be made, I'm sure, but for my needs personally, I'm quite a fan. I've done pretty well with it. Yeah, that's kind of all I've got to say. I think it's good as a pistol build as well, to focus on headshots and things like that. But ever since Neil buffed the pistols, it's been a lot more fun to use pistols, and yeah, I'm almost missing my shotgun character though. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done anything with that character in so long, so I might focus on trying to get a good shotgun character set up today. But yeah, that's essentially the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope you like the build as well. I'm sorry this was a bit what's the word? A little bit unorganized, I guess you could say. I tried to make it as organized as I could while using like live commentary, but I really do hope you enjoyed it. I had quite a lot of fun setting this build up, and it's good to be back on YouTube. So yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I can see through the pumpkin there. That's weird. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one, guys.